So Kyle, when you first saw my golf swing, what did you actually think?
Oh my God, does his right elbow actually do that? No.
That track.
It looks like an unfolded lawn chair. No. Well, before we go even into all those stories, tell everybody a little bit about like who you are and your story.
Yeah. So, back in the day, a long time ago, I'm terrible with dates, but a long time ago, I used to be
in a land far away.
a 15 handicap, or even worse than that. Like I didn't even really track it. My goal was to break 80 though. That was like the thing. I wanted to break 80, and like everyone else, like I tried everything. I tried YouTube tips, social media tips. I tried, getting lessons like in person. I tried everything. And I think the worst part was that I would spend the time. Like I was putting in the effort and the energy and the time.
Yeah.
And I would just I would still miss fairways. I would hit it into the dude's pool out of bounds. And it was like, is this ever going to happen?
And the hard part with all that stuff too is it feels like, because I was in the same boat, it feels like it's constantly like a ploy to get you to come back.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's never actually fixing the root cause and there's always that thing, like when you get the lesson, there's always that thing, you're like, is he telling me the whole story? Or is he just doing it just to fix it enough
to feed the
dopamine so I come back for another lesson, right?
The amount of lessons that I've gone to in the past, I mean, I took more lessons than anybody, as you know, and the amount of times I would leave and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to practice.
Yeah.
And I would go and just try the feelings. And it's like, those didn't work anymore.
Yep.
And so it got to a point where I kind of hit rock bottom with my game. And I was like, I need to go to trusty old Google and type how to hit more fairways.
If it's on Google.
Yeah. I'm like, I type it in. I'm like, how to hit more fairways, because my driver at the time was like really, really bad. I was like, I couldn't hit a fairway. I was hitting it out of play. And it was funny because everyone was telling me around me, like, you just need to work on your short game or like slow down your swing. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I promise you guys, I'm hitting it out of.
I got this elbow thing.
My dispersion's 120 yards wide.
Yeah.
So I type that in and I'm like, I type how to hit more fairways and I click enter and this guy pops up on my screen and it was like talking about this stock shot and it was you. And and I'm like, man, if I had this stock shot, if I had a shot that started one way, curved back, but didn't overcurve the line, I was like, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'd become a lot more consistent. So, But I think it would be good for you to tell everybody like where that came from and your methodology and system behind the stock shot and stuff.
Well, I think for me, it was kind of similar in the story. So maybe even a little bit more painful, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I played golf at I'm from Columbus, played golf at Seton Hall, was an ESPN All-American there, got engaged, turned pro, and got engaged, turned pro, and graduated in a weekend, which now you know me better than anybody on planet Earth. That pretty much sums up my life, right?
That is Kyle Morris, yes.
Right? Just go faster. It's easy, right? So I do that. Leslie, my beloved wife, who I adore and am obsessed with, we're traveling the country together, and I basically suck.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there in Bentonville, Arkansas at this mini tour event. I had missed 7 cuts in a row, and it was June. And I was like, basically, not to get like overly sentimental or whatever, but I had missed the cut on Friday, and Leslie and I sat in this host family. They were the Britons in Bentonville, Arkansas, and we sat there at their host family late at night on Friday, and both of her, not to sound like a sissy, but both of her and I crying because in our apartment in Arizona the next day on Monday, rent was due, and we didn't have enough money to pay rent.
Right. And
I was like, this is miserable. Like, I suck, and I'm broke.
Not a good combo.
So, and then, by the grace of Jesus, after that on Monday, which is basically like a God thing in itself, but the host family actually, we woke up, no joke, our rent was $885. We woke up, the host family left. We had stayed with them for about a year, 2 years prior to this. Or not, we didn't say that. This was the first year. We ended up staying with them 2 or 3 years. But, so they only had known us for like 4 or 5 days. We woke up on Saturday, and they said, hey, we have to go out of town for the day, but we just feel called to give you this. And on the kitchen counter was a check for $900.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
That's huge,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Right.
Like, I'm just getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. And I was like, and then at that moment, like, there was plans that God had, and then the next door opened, which was I started to have the epiphany, and kind of learned about this stock shot.
Mm-hmm. Can we just explain for everybody what a stock shot actually is?
Yeah, so first, a stock shot, by definition, is a golf ball that starts one way, curves back towards the flag, and never overcurves the line. And it doesn't matter whether it's a draw or a fade. If we do want to pin off of Ben Hogan, he says to hit a proper fade, you have to know how to hit a proper draw first. It's kind of like getting your master's, and you got to get your master's, you got to have your bachelor's. But a stock shot was really embedded to me. One of my mentors that was with me when I was playing as a sponsor was this guy named Larry Zonka. And Larry Zonka, which was probably before your time, but I know you know the story. But like Larry Zonka was the running back for the Miami Dolphins for when they went undefeated. So Larry Zonka and Jack Nicklaus were actually really good friends. And Jack Nicklaus was supposed to speak at the World Golf Hall of Fame. He couldn't show up. He called Larry and said, hey, man, can you go fill in for me? And Larry's like, sure, because he lived just a little bit south. So you're expected to see Jack Nicklaus at the World Golf Hall of Fame. Larry ends up showing up. It's like, this is sweet, but where's Jack?
Yeah.
So Mr. Nicklaus owed Larry a favor, and by the grace of God, I became that favor.
Right.
So I'm broke. I'm struggling. I'm on the phone with Larry, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, should I get a job? Like, I'm hitting it both ways, just like you. That week I had played a tournament. I hit every driver left. I mean, it was just like tip out left, out left. Right?
I've been there. Yeah,
you got this one. I got that one. Right.
Yeah.
So between the two of us, we would have really killed it. So he sets up this meeting with Jack Nicklaus Friday of the Memorial Tournament, busiest day of that guy's life because he goes on the broadcast. I go to his house at 10 a.m. It's me, Mr. Nicklaus, his wife Barbara. My father goes too, and we speak for 2 hours. And we talked about a lot of things. I mean, there was a bazillion nuggets, but the one question that I had for him is I said, Mr. Nicklaus, you've won 18 majors. How do you get really good? And like without like a shadow of a doubt, he looks at me, no hesitation. He goes, what you need to do is you need to develop a stock shot. And I was like, probably like many of these people, I'm like, what's a stock shot? He's like, a golf ball that starts one way, curves back the flag, never overcurves the line. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that sounds exactly what I want. Now I have no idea how to do it.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, what do you want? It's like, I want to live in Aspen. I have no idea how to get there, but I know that that's what I want. Right. So then I went on this journey to figure out like how to build a stock shot.
Right. It's kind of like in bowling too, right? Can you give the bowling analogy? This bowling analogy really hit home for me back in the day. And we'll get
so
to
if you think about bowling, right? So you basically start when you're bowling, and I can't actually curve
I can't. No.
I wrecked my wrist. But like when you bowl, you try to start a ball that kind of starts right, curves left, and then if you hit the front right of the pin, that gives you by physics like the best odds for a strike, right? Hitting it straight is really hard. I don't know if you ever go to like pins, but I do it. It's like, it's always off to the side, and then you don't get the strike. But if you can curve it and hit that front right part of the pin, it gives you the greatest odds just by percentage, almost like blackjack. Gives you the best odds for a strike. And that's the same thing that you're trying to do with this stock shot is get a ball that starts one way, curves back to that front pin, hits the front right, but not the left, right? And so all the ball is always playing offense towards the flag, and it ends up scaring the flag more times than not. So, but that's kind of what happened. So after I had done that and figured out from Mr. Nicklaus, like, okay, I need this stock shot. Now it was going about trying to figure out how to actually do it. So I think I took a bazillion lessons.
Yeah, it wasn't linear, right? It wasn't like you found out about the stock shot and then you were like just hitting stock shots.
Yeah, and like what were your lessons like? I'll tell you what mine were like after that.
Well,
like what were your normal lessons?
I would go to the lesson and I would get like feelings. We might do a couple drills, maybe film. We might film a swing or two, maybe.
Yeah.
And we'd work on it a little bit, and then I would leave without a plan. I would just leave and just basically book another lesson after going to the range and being lost. That was it. Like that was and it's probably pretty similar. Like I'd just go get the lesson, leave, and I'd be like practicing and putting in the time, putting in the energy, and I couldn't recreate the feelings of the lesson. And I don't even think there was anything to recreate because I wasn't even getting anything back then.
And the problem is that I would leave the lesson too, and it was constantly me even going even the next day, and the worst statement in all of golf of "Let me try this."
Yeah.
And it's just the worst.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying "Let me try this," you don't actually know.
Right.
You're just hoping to stumble upon greatness, right? And for me, like, it was either that lesson where the guy's standing behind you like Chubbs, and he's got like his arms crossed, and he's like, just swing it out to the right. It's all in the hips. Like, do your tempo. And it's like, okay. And then we had a similar experience with a similar coach then it's the other side of the spectrum. So tell about the other side of the spectrum.
Well, the other side was let's think about 57 different things at one time.
Right.
And
mine was 72.
Well, yeah, you had more than me. Mine was only like 57. But it was awful. I mean, it was like note cards of just thoughts. And you went from thinking to not being able to play at all. You couldn't be an athlete. You couldn't do anything. And it was like, what are we even doing right now?
Yeah.
You know, there was some merit to, you know, the similar instructor that we had, but like there's also like, we'd still leave and be like, okay, let me ask him a question. And it's like, well, I got the no text back, no reply.
Yeah.
And then it was like, let's book another lesson. I'm like,
yeah. And the thing is that, not to get like techno babble on this stuff, but why that doesn't actually work on a coaching side is that when you're starting to go through all of those logical thoughts like that and you're reading it like it's a book over the golf ball, you're using what's called your prefrontal cortex. So that part of your brain can only process 40 messages a second. So like when we are an athlete and we are actually feeling it within our skin and we're paying attention to an intention, we're using our motor cortex, which is 11 million messages a second.
Yeah,
so I was the same exact way, like with my journey. So that really, and you kind of, you know, opened my eyes to something when you just said this. But what ended up happening on my journey to figure out what this stock shot is I went through all of those things with the lessons.
Yeah.
And for me, and you know this about me, but just to reiterate, the biggest thing, one of my core things is the ability to like, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, about constant contact. So for me, my mentor was Mike Bender. And the thing, like, Mike Bender, he's top 5 coach of all time, like the guy of guys, right? It's like David Ledbetter, you know, Butch Harmon, Mike Bender, Chuck Cook, and someone else. I don't know. Right. But the thing was, Mike, it was not only like the ability of what he was teaching me, and actually when I showed up to him, I was like, hey, you know, like, what's your methodology? And right away, he's like, oh, you need to build a stock shot. I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard this before.
Right.
And, but was the fact that, like, when I asked Mike a question, wherever I was in the world, because I played 40 weeks a year in 20 different countries in 2014, he would get back to me like within a moment's notice. And I'm like, this is how this should actually be.
Right.
Because and we'll go through a little bit about that. But that's like, for me, it was the fact that unlike all the other coaches, and I mean, I worked with a lot of the top 20 coaches in the world. I mean, I literally like won an event, and I remember texting, I won't say the guy's name, but I text the guy and I was like, hey, the lesson last week was really good. Like, blah, blah, blah. I have a couple questions. Ghosted. Yeah. I literally sent 4 voicemails. Nothing. I couldn't even book a lesson because he wouldn't get back. And I'm like, this is not like the personal relationship that I want. I want someone that's like in my corner.
No, if you think about like all of the best players in the world, like they don't wait for a response from their coach, right? Like that's not happening. And I feel like you know, for me, I was a 15 handicap. I feel like I should have had, and I did have the same exact level of communication with my coach. If I'm taking out my wallet and paying for coaching, I shouldn't have to wait. And the thing is too, like when you're getting really good and when you're practicing and doing all these things, it's not when you're necessarily at the lesson for an hour or like a virtual Zoom 100%. Session for an hour. It's when you're practicing 5 hours a week or, you know, through however much time you have and putting in the time and the energy and the drills and making sure that you're actually doing them right.
Yeah, and that's kind of like for my story, and then I want to go and I'll kind of finish up here with my story, and then I want to tell everybody about yours. But what would happen with Mike is I would be in Scottsdale. I'd call Mike. We'd have like a little FaceTime lesson for like an hour. He would give me the stuff, and the where it really like started to embed into my skin, where I was like, Mike, this is awesome. I'm in Montevideo, Uruguay now, so like I need to know that tomorrow when I practice, I'm doing it right. And I'm like, that's a problem because I'm normally with every other relationship. I go and I practice 3 weeks by myself, and then I show up and the guy's like, it's not any better. I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I practiced 10 hours a day for 3 weeks and wasted my time.
Exactly.
So what Mike was like, dude, it's super easy. Just every day that you practice, film a video or two, which you should be doing anyways, right? and then send it to me, and then I'll check it on like Monday night, and then on Tuesday send me another video and I'll check it, and then on Wednesday send me another video, and then every day you start layering these things on. So like it would be very equivalent in the business world of your boss checking your work every single day for 15 minutes.
Right.
There's no way you can do the project wrong unless your boss is a moron.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So what about like with you? Like, so you had that thing. Tell everybody kind of our story. So you Google.
I
right?
Google how to hit more fairways because my driver was terrible. Yeah.
Google.
And you were talking, and I think it's still up there somewhere on YouTube. It was talking about a stock shot on the Golf Channel, and I watched the video, and we all have these moments where we're like, oh my God, you had the moment with Jack and Mike. I had the moment with watching your video, and I was like, I need a stock shot. Like that was the moment, and I'm like, I just need to figure out how to do it now. Like the same thing. Luckily, you had already gone through some of that journey. I mean, you kind of went through it for me in a sense. Yeah. And so, we worked together, online, in person, here and there, and we had the difference was I had a plan. I had a system to follow, and we can dive into the system, but in a little bit. But going from 15 down to like a 12, down to like a 10, down to 7, like. There was just, with the system, it was like a 1% better every day.
Yep.
Versus like before, I would go from like a 17 to a 15 and then maybe a 14, but back up to 18. It was like there was no like
the trending line was different.
Yeah, the trend was awful, and it was like with this, it was like, okay, maybe I didn't have 1 or 2 great practice sessions, but at least I knew I could send a video to my coach and be like, why did that not feel good?
Yeah.
And then the next one was really good. So that was where it changed everything.
And what was it, Jacob, who works with us, he was telling me, what's the greenhouse story?
The greenhouse story.
He was like, you got to talk to Dom about the greenhouse story.
So I'm in my backyard hitting shots into my net, right? I have a net in it's not like a crazy net, it's just a net.
Yep.
And I hit this really, really solid shot. Like, and I'm doing a drill, and I
got it.
I felt really good about it, and it goes straight through the net and almost nails my neighbor's greenhouse.
Nice.
It was like, man, that would have been, and it just went off into the trees or whatever. I don't think it actually.
I'd seen Hull, we had a net, and then they wouldn't get a new net, so you would hit it, and when you hit a good one, right, you'd hit it, and it had a hole.
Yeah.
So it hit through the hole, and then behind the net was the concrete.
Yeah.
So then it would literally hit the concrete, and then you would like have to matrix, and I've already taken one ball in the face. So, but that would have been before that. But it was like, you were dodging bullets.
No, yeah, I did.
But the good news is that you hit the spot.
No, I did. No, I hit it right. I hit it right where I wanted. I did a swing review a couple days ago of a guy who had a net, and his stone wall was right behind it.
Oh no!
It was like, the ball's definitely going to go through and come back and ricochet. I'm like, you should probably move that net.
Yeah. All right. So essentially, with what my journey was, your journey, they were very, very similar. And I think, it was, what really came out. We'll go for me personally. What really came out of it, and it was the same thing that then I transferred to you, right? Like when you were working with the golf room team virtually, because you were in college, right? You're playing college golf and trying to figure it out. And sending videos back and forth and so on and so forth. But it really stems around like 3 main concepts of like, first, we have to understand what it is that we need to do, right? Because we have to understand what is truth. Because if we can understand what is truth, then we never need to say, let me try this.
Yeah. We're never searching, right? Like we're never on the search for, what do I need to go try and do to try and feel something to hit the ball straight? It's like, no, like we have this overarching goal of building a stock shot, and there is a way to do that.
Yeah.
And there's a way to swing the golf club to do that. Now, do we have to be perfect? Do we have to be like 100%? No. It's like my swing is not perfect.
Yeah.
I still fly my elbow sometimes, but I can hit these nice little stock shots and play really solid golf.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the beauty too, is that like when we're doing this thing, and like even when I'm breaking down your golf swing, and now you're breaking down my golf swing, and I'm asking you for advice too, is that if you were to do this ultimately perfect, that essentially is you reaching your fulfillment of like your God-given design, and everybody's God-given design of what they can reach. Like if you're a 15, it's better than an 8. Now, I'm not saying everybody could be like a +2, but I have a very deep conviction that if done correctly, everyone should be a sub-6, unless you are just the most unathletic human being on the planet.
Yeah.
So, you first have to understand what it is that you need to do.
Yeah.
And then what you and I struggled with the lessons that we had before is that we have to make it so that when we are practicing, we're actually practicing, right? So one of the epiphany moments that we didn't even talk about before this, but you had even said this maybe about a year and a half ago, that one of the epiphany moments was the idea when we were doing the cone drill of the steep, shallow, steep, and the lines, right? Can you tell a little bit like what the heck is steep, shallow, steep?
Yeah. No,
Because that was like a light bulb moment for you of like...
It's super simple. And that's when I thought about building a stock shot at first, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to worry about my takeaway. I'm going to have to worry about halfway back, like top position, like my elbow and coming down and shifting my weight and all this stuff.
Maybe it
is
is 57 thoughts.
Yeah, maybe it is. I'm like, shoot, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, man, it's actually not. If you actually model the 98% of the best players in the world, they all take the club back steep in their backswing, which is where the shaft points inside the ball halfway back. And then they come down and the shaft kind of naturally wants to shallow down where it looks outside the ball, coming down halfway down. And then as they go through impact and rotate, and rotation through impact and controlling the face, once you do the proper things in the proper order, is not that hard. You just have to make sure you're doing those things. And then the shaft will look steep in their fall through.
Yeah.
So that's...
So we're doing this together as like player and coach, and then tell the story about January 2020.
Ooh, January 2020. Yeah. So I come to you and I'm like, Kyle, this has completely transformed my game. Like, I didn't just like start playing golf, didn't have a perfect swing. I wasn't like a guy that you would look at on the range and say like, that guy's going to be good. Like, I had to dig it out of the dirt and I had to really like work really hard.
Yeah.
And so I come to you and I book a lesson. I was like, I don't actually want a lesson. I don't actually want a swing lesson. You're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what? So we sit down at a table like this and I'm like, I actually want to take this and what, this is done for my game and what's really done for your game as well. And like, how many people that we've helped or you've helped before diving into this. And I said, I want to partner with you and take this out to the world, take this to the masses.
Take it everywhere.
Everywhere. So that's why it's called the Golf Room Everywhere. So we're taking the golf room everywhere.
Yep.
And I think, we can touch on this later, but it's more than just about the swing. We talk a lot about the golf swing, but golf is more than just a pretty swing. And that's something that we talk about all the time too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a conduit into life, right?
Yeah.
Like it teaches everything that I've worked on with like my heart and soul and character. A lot of that stuff has come through the game of golf of like, I didn't properly rate that bunker. Like, wow, I'm a selfish human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like the great part about it. And now what's been so cool is I want to talk a little bit about, because you're taking that first principle. If we talk about like, okay, you got a stock shot, you want steep, shallow, steep. But to really do that, you have to have understanding, feedback, and constant contact.
Yeah.
So like, tell everybody like what is the purpose behind Dom's swing reviews? Because you are giving so many people hope and so many people like clarity, and I want them to hear a little bit more about what your heart is behind that.
Well, it's insane. I every morning the first thing I do is wake up and look through DMs for positive messages, and it makes me emotional just thinking about it, because the fact that I can have an impact on people to help their swinging, and you understand it, you have too. It's like that makes a difference. But the goal is to really help people do step one, right? Help people understand what is truth. Like, how are we going to build a swing that produces this stock shot? And then also how to film. Like, the first step to understanding is learning how to film. And I receive like thousands of swing reviews or swing videos per day.
Yeah.
And the camera angles are absolutely
And it twists
terrible.
the whole video, because you have it too this way, it looks like you're too shallow. Go this way, it's too over the top.
And you can't. You just can't review. I can't review it if it's bad. I can, but like it's not going to do anybody any good. So really the first step to understanding what to look for is filming from the proper spot.
Yeah.
And then you can go from there, and then you can understand, okay, this is what, your setup should look like.
Yeah.
And then this is what your takeaway should look like, and your backswing and stuff like that. But then getting into the next step is feedback. It's like, now we have to do drills to force you to actually make the swing that we want you to make.
Because what you feel is never real.
No, and that's the hardest thing to understand is we have a really good analogy that we use writing the letter A. Like I'm expecting my first child in September, and if I gave him, and this is the analogy that you gave me, and I'm kind of twisting it for my own child, but if I gave him when he turns 3 years old, a bunch of thoughts to write the letter A, it's like, draw a 1-inch line at 45, another 1-inch line, another, another line connecting the two. He'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
He'd look at you cross.
Yeah, same thing with your daughter, Rowan and Brent. And so, if I gave him a trace and said, "Don't color outside the lines," it's like he could probably do that.
Yeah,
and then he does.
Yeah.
And then he does color outside the lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. And he starts to color inside the lines. He's like, "That feels weird." It's like,
It is what it is.
I don't know what to tell you. It's the same thing for the golf swing.
Right.
Instead of trying to fix a car without tools,
Yeah.
let's fix our swing with tools,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then it goes into the next tier. That's not enough, right? We can understand, we can use feedback, and we can do the drills. But if you're doing the drill wrong, if you have it set up wrong, you risk getting worse.
Yeah, and that's kind of the original onset of the Golf Room Everywhere. Like we filmed the master plan. That was the first thing we ever did. And then we're like, SOB, the people are going to set up the stuff wrong.
It's like,
and then they're going to get worse and blame the Golf Room Everywhere. It's like, no, you're just not even doing it right.
I had a college golfer send me a DM of him doing one of the drills, the hand noodle drill. And it was like 6 feet, not 6 feet, like 6 or 7 inches too far away.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're still coming down steep.
Yeah, dude, if you hit that noodle, you should quit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's too far away. It's like, man, he just needs, he understands what he's looking for. He understands how to film. He understands the feedback, but he's not practicing.
Well, it's just like, this is crazy to even think about. Like my son's Adler's turning 13, and soon he's going to be getting his license.
It's crazy.
Which is nuts.
That's crazy.
Right? So, but when he does that, it's the same idea. Like he's going to get in the car. He's going to go to Dublin Kaufman High School. They're going to put the cones in the parking lot, and then he's going to go in and out of the cones, which would be like the feedback.
Right.
And he's read the manual of how to drive a car and like where to turn on and where the gas is. But then if he hits the cones, what is he going to do? He's going to look to the right, and he's look at the driver's ed teacher. He's like, I hit him. I keep hitting him.
Right.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
So now if Adler is sitting in the car with the driver's ed teacher all the time, every single day for a year, let's just pretend, and he doesn't know how to drive, that driver's ed teacher needs to be fired. Right?
Exactly.
So, but he will. He'll know how to drive because that driver's ed teacher is going to tell him, like, hey, you got to make this correction. You missed this micro adjustment.
There's a system and a plan behind it.
There's a way to do it. And if you're and that's kind of basically what we've done is like, just like driver's ed, I went to the little office in Powell and I read the book, and then you have the cones for the feedback, and then you have the driver as the constant contact. And then ultimately, which is our goal, is that we don't want welfare students. We want players to be their own coach. And that does take time. There's no such thing as 6-minute abs.
No.
Right?
No. That's the worst thing to follow is like thinking there's a quick tip. It's like, and swing your swing. That's another one.
Yeah.
Swing your swing's a tough one because
I had a guy the other day on my Instagram. He goes, I feel like I'm just a natural. I have a natural slice. I'm like, no, that's like equivalent to someone saying I'm naturally big boned. It's like, nope, you're just overweight.
Yeah.
God made your bones the same as the other people. You just need to do it. So like, and
this idea too of swing your swing is tough because there are players that can swing their swing and time it up
100%.
And if you can do that, I couldn't do it, and you couldn't do it either. Yeah. We couldn't do it, so something has to change. I can't just continue swinging my swing and expect a different result.
I think that why that doesn't work is that to swing your swing, like golf players on the PGA Tour have made their inconsistent swings perfectly consistent.
Yeah,
which is a lot of
words,
right?
Yeah.
But they have inconsistent swings because they all have imperfections. There's not the only model in the world is Iron Byron, like the machine that's at the USGA.
Yeah,
right. But they've made their inconsistent swings perfectly consistent, and then what happens to make that inconsistent swing perfectly consistent? You have to practice 12 hours a week. Right. But if you have a swing and that you actually know how to practice, you really only need like an hour or two.
Right.
Like that's it. And if you can do that, now you're getting the highest rate of return for the limited amount of time that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what, like with all of these things, that's what we've really built into the product of the Golf Room Everywhere, which is this, this passionate players coaching program, our VIP program.
Yeah.
I mean, talk a little bit more about like the VIP.
Yeah, it's really not for everybody. It's actually not for like 98% of people. Because 98% of people want the quick thing, want the training aid that's just going to like fix everything. And that's not what it's for. It's really for the golfer that is practicing 2 or 3, 4, 5 times a week, has time.
Super passionate,
has a net, has a simulator, has been trying to become more consistent, has taken lessons, all of this stuff, but really just needs a plan to follow with a coach. And that's the key, right? The constant contact portion of this is like, well, how do you understand? Well, a coach is going to tell you what you need to look for. A coach is going to give you the drills. A coach is going to tell you if you're doing them right.
Yep.
Right. And that's what we're doing with the program.
Yeah. Yeah. And with it, I mean, that's why players are dropping 39% off their handicap relative to 0 in a year. But to the point of the driver's ed, like, how could they not? Like, no, you basically, there's no way to not get better. Right. Like, it's literally impossible unless you don't practice, you don't listen, you do your own way, you don't send videos. But if you just sit in the car with the instructor next to you, you will learn how to quote unquote drive the car. Yeah,
and the thing is too, we're not sitting here saying like you're going to dive into something like this and do no work and see results. Like, it's hard. Yeah. It's not easy. You have to put the work in, you put the time in. But like, you're gonna look back one day. I'm looking back now and I'm in a slump. Like last year I had like a slump.
Yep.
And I used to be a 15 handicap or even worse. My slump now is like a scratch.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's
first world
it's
problems.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I just walked off the course, shot 78, and like I would have dreamed of shooting 78 on a bad day.
100%.
So
if you're talking to your audience, which your audience, our audience at Dom Swing Reviews, they're all passionate players, and there's someone listening that is a student, right? What would you want, and they have kind of like I had the conversation with Nicklaus, and then I had the conversation with Bender, and they're looking at you, go, Dom, you got one thing to tell me. What would you tell them?
I think what I would tell them is if you are in it for the long haul, if you're in it for long term, and you just follow the system and you follow the plan, it will work. And you would probably say the same thing. Like, no, it probably won't happen next week. You probably won't take your handicap from a 12 to a 6 tomorrow. But like, if you just trust the process, put in the time, commit to it, and follow the plan, it'll work.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
And I think too, like the other thing that's interesting with the way technology has gone now is that you don't need to be in person, because I always say that people are like, well, what about online lessons? I'm like, listen, man, like if you come to Columbus, Ohio, and you come to the golf room, and the golf room's sweet, like it's great. Yeah. Like it's like, the FAO Schwartz of like golf facilities, but like I'm not groping you in the bay, man. I'm just saying I set up a noodle or a cone. I'm like, just miss the stick. Well,
you gave a lesson to somebody who was deaf.
I taught it. Yeah.
And it's like,
I could do it with no words.
You can do it with no words.
Just over and under.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And that's the difference versus like, I think Grant Horvat, he put a video on YouTube. He went and got like 3 different in-person lessons, and every single one was an instructor sitting behind him.
Yeah.
Didn't film, didn't use feedback. There was no plan. They just watched him hit golf balls.
Yeah. And I think,
and I'm not trying to go, they're good people. It's just, there's just a lack of process there.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have like a SOP, just mask to your point.
Yeah.
Don't change the SOP. Just keep doing it, and you'll get really, really, really good at it.
If there's anything too, it's like, it all starts with the film doesn't lie. Like if you can learn how to film your swing, that is, and it is a pain sometimes to set up the camera. I get it. You can get a tripod. I set it on my bag half the time.
Yep.
And it is a pain sometimes. But like once you get used to it, the value of filming is, it is so valuable because feelings lie.
Yep.
Ball flights lie.
Yep.
You can make a crazy looking swing and have a golf ball go dead straight.
Hit it off the toe and you're like, look, a draw.
A draw, yeah. And you can aim 40 yards right and come way over the top and pull it back on line and say, I hit it. You see it out all the time.
Yeah. Darn.
But what doesn't lie is the film.
Yeah.
And
it's worth 1,000 words. So they're always like, hey, camera adds 10 pounds. It's like, nope.
No.
That's just how you look,
Yeah,
man.
I don't like the camera either, but that's
Right?
just what it is.
Right? So it's like, that the camera is the answer key to what is truth.
Yeah.
And that really goes back to the first pillar of understanding.
Yeah.
And then to change the look of the video, rather than relying on feelings, this goes back to the Jack Nicklaus thing of proper swings give proper feelings.
Yeah.
So now we create a proper swing through the feedback training, which gives us the feeling of what is real.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how it feels, just like the analogy of tracing the A with your soon-to-be child.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the same time, we need someone looking over our shoulder, like a tutor, if you will, checking our homework to make sure that we're doing it right. Because if I say 5 + 5 = 12,
right.
It doesn't matter how it feels. That's wrong, man. The answer's 10, right? And that's where like the constant contact happens. So, it's been amazing because I think, we have this, you and I have come together now. We're going on 6 years in our marriage, right? We have a joke where we say, well, I'll talk to you in 7 minutes, which is about right.
It is.
But, I know this sounds audacious to everybody, but like the goal is to teach more lessons on planet Earth than anyone else.
Yeah.
And, we're on our way, and we're indoctrinating, if you will, so many people through Dom's Swing Reviews and my YouTube, my Instagram stuff, and just all over the map. And I think that we're creating really real clarity as to like, what does a golf swing look like built around physics and efficiency? And then how do you actually go about doing it?
Yeah, for sure.
And not being a golf ball whacker guy.
Well, if there's anything that you could give your audience and your people for this type of thing and what we're even speaking about, and you could give one piece of advice and you had 60 seconds to give it, what would you say?
If I had, I would say, I would probably have a heart-to-heart with him, and I go, hey, man or gal, I'm like, there's a solution. Like, you don't need to do this alone, and God didn't design us to do this alone. Like, it's better to do it in fellowship. Yeah. It's better to do it in partnership.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't need to do this alone. Like, there are people, us and our team of coaches that are all trained by us and like 250 hours of training that are basically wanting to walk with them intimately, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That can give them a solution to what they are so that they never feel lost again, and they're not out in the wilderness trying to say, let me try this and let me try that, which never works.
Right.
Ever.
That's good. Yeah.
So I would just say, like, you have the solution. It's just a matter of, do you want it?
Yeah.
You can lead a camel to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
that's
well,
good.
Thanks, man. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
I should be thanking you.
Let's go continue to dominate the world and teach more lessons on planet Earth than anybody else.
Let's do it. So, Kyle, if somebody's watching this and they're super passionate, but they don't really know where to go, they want to apply for our VIP program, where should they go?
I would send them to tgrevip.com, apply, and then we will be in touch to see if you are a good fit.